And welcome to this edition of Iron Sports, and I am Jermaine Brown. This one promises to be a knockout as we take a trek down memory lane with former heavyweight boxing champion of the world, Evander Holyfield. And we also speak to promoters Ronson Frank and Eric Bentley of Real Deal Boxing Promotions. Sound familiar? Well, to find out their plans for local boxing sensation Kemhal Hitman Russell. As usual, let us know what you think by heading to our Facebook page, Iron Sports JA. We'll take a break, but stick around. When we come back, we'll be heading to the ring. Soon come. And welcome back to Iron Sports. Now, Evander Real Deal Holyfield, well, he had a storied career spanning 3 decades from 1984 to 2014. During that time, he wrote his name in the annals of boxing history with famous victories over the likes of George Foreman, Buster Douglas, Larry Holmes, and of course, Mike Tyson. He ended with a ring record of 44 wins, 10 losses, and 2 draws from 57 fights, including 29 knockouts. So today, we take a look back at the illustrious career in our sit-down with the great man himself, Evander Holyfield. A career spanning 30 years. Why so long, first up?
Well, just trying to complete a goal. You know, my goal was to be the very best I could be. And you don't know that until you get into it.
Man, before you got into it, there was the Olympic Games as well. 1984 in the U.S., you won bronze. How much of a motivating factor was that for you to carry on and to go so far in the sport?
Well, you know, and then, you know, I was told that I could be like Ali. So Ali was a light heavy. I was a light heavy. I was shooting for the goal and missed it because a bad call. But you had to pick yourself up and go on.
Yeah, and in doing that, the very next year, you turned pro at age 21. Can you recall what that was like for you?
It was wonderful because you know what? Before I turned pro, I had 3 jobs and had to do all that. Then when I turned pro, I have no job. My job was boxing, right, which was my hobby.
Okay, that came easy for you.
Sure.
Do you remember your very first fight?
In my first fight, I fought Madison Square Garden. I fought 9 o'clock on ABC television. So my mama said they remember the people who opened the show and they remember the person who closed the show. I got an opportunity to open the show. Yeah, and you started out at cruiserweight, and then I think by about 1985, you had decided to move up to light heavyweight. Going back to that period of time, what was professional boxing like in the mid to late 80s? Well, at that time, I had to lose a lot of weight, and I was that kid that, you know, ate 1 time a day. I mean, it was amazing too. Now you got all this money, you can buy anything you want. And you eat 1 time a day.
Right.
I'm talking about it strengthened my mind, though. It strengthened my mind to stay focused.
Yeah. The Real Deal. Where did that moniker come from? Before we go even further, Evander Real Deal Holyfield.
Well, that came from, you know, when I was working, and back then they talked on CBs. And, you know, there's a guy named Papa Charlie. He said, you got to get your name.
Right.
And so, you know, Real Deal came up.
Yeah.
What's your deal, Holyfield? And so then it moved on to Real Deal.
Yeah. 1990, you are the real deal. I mean, at that point in time, 3 belts, unifying the WBC, WBA, IBF heavyweight titles. At that point in time, you know, there were other boxers, young Mike Tyson and others, but being on top of the world in 1990, bring us back to that time.
Well, after I beat Buster Douglas, you know, here's the guy that beat Mike Tyson. Now, I ain't think nobody was going to beat Mike Tyson. I ain't think nobody was going to beat Mike Tyson. So I thought, I'm the guy going to have to beat him. Somebody got to do it. Why not me? But Buster Douglas got him. And so Buster Douglas was so much bigger than me.
Right.
And I had people say, Shoot, so you ain't gonna get beat by Tigers? Buster Douglas gonna knock you out.
Right.
Okay, I knocked him out in the third round. And so, that's when everything became different, because now I'm the heavyweight champ of the world. And I have people criticize me on other things that, well, I didn't speak well, and all these things. And everybody started judging me.
Right.
Man, he can't put a sentence together. But I'm the heavyweight champ of the world. I knock people out.
Right.
You don't even supposed to be asking me about that. That's just amazing how people want to chip at you.
Yeah, as soon as they get to the very top.
Yeah.
Uneasy is the head that wears the crown. You're on top of the world. Then comes that period, 93, 94. You suffer your first loss. Go ahead and just take us back to that time too.
Well,
93.
actually, it was 92. Yeah. And, I beat George Foreman. Then I beat Larry Holmes. Well, when I beat George Foreman, it got to me a little bit, because George Foreman was a big guy.
Yeah.
I mean, real big. He had about 260 pounds. Big. And he pulled these big old trucks and all this. And I beat him. Then all of a sudden I started thinking, man, Lord, I can beat anybody with two hands. So everybody talking about how Larry Holmes gonna take me to school, right. And I beat him.
Right.
So and so the next person I was gonna fight, Reddy Bowe. But Reddy Bowe and I was sparring partner, and I beat him up every day. So was it to beat him up again? The
complacency started setting in.
No, it wasn't complacent. Now I worked very hard because I knew that I ain't take boxing for granted at all. My hobby was training, and I did it real well. So when I fought him, he tricked me. What he did, he looked at me and he said, let me tell you something. If you don't run, I'll knock you out.
Right.
So, I don't run for nobody. But that was my mama thing. My mama said, a man died one time, coward died 1,000 times. You face the
stand and fight.
And that's what I did. I stand and fought him too long, till both of my eyes were swollen up. They were trying to get me to move. I said, I can't see now. But when I could have moved, I should have did what the man told me to. I just had a bad game plan. Not that we had a bad game plan.
Was it overconfidence?
Well, no, I wouldn't say overconfident, because I was actually beating and moving. Then he hit me low.
Oh.
When he hit me low, I just started fighting him. I just lost my cool and because I thought he was gonna run out of gas like he used to.
Right.
But he didn't run out of gas that time.
And many may not remember, but in 1994, you were forced to retire due to health issues, and then came back a year later. Tell us about that time period and how you overcame that particular situation.
Well, all my life I always prayed and all this and stuff. So, when I fought Michael Moore, I had just came off a victory beating Reddy Bowe. Yeah. Beat him the third time, but I strained my arm beating him. But you know what? But the money was good. I wasn't turning down none of that money. Okay? Yeah. I came into boxing when the money was big. Yeah. I'm talking just like you look at Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
He making all this money.
Yeah.
But at that time, if you got a $10 million payday, you were super. Well, I got a $22 million. Wow. So all of a sudden, you know what? I wasn't turning down nothing, man. That's what I do.
Right.
And so I fight against Michael Moore. I messed my arm up in the second round after I knocked him down. But I wasn't gonna quit, so I fought the whole fight. He get the decision, and though my arm was still bothering me, they take me, and they gave me some morphine for my arm. And all of a sudden, I went into a heart attack. But they over medicated me.
Right.
And so then they say Evander got a bad heart. So I went to. I thought boxing was over for me, and I didn't care. I was like, okay then, boxing is over. One thing I can say, I can still think right, and I still got money.
Right.
So,
10 years in.
So all of a sudden, you know what I did? I said, okay, I'm just retired. So when I went to I was gonna go into ministry, And this man ain't been in here and say, you know what, God want to heal your heart. He's come on. And they put his hand on me, told me go back. When I went back to the doctor, they said, I don't see you got no problem.
You didn't get a second medical opinion?
Well, you know, I went to, the doctors that we went to and all that, so they examined all that. They said, oh, well, okay, then you got problem. When he told them to check the thing over again, they checked it, went back, and they said, man, this is impossible for your heart to be like this now. It changed. Right. So they went back and they found out that I didn't actually have. What my problem is, they over medicate me. That's what made me go into that. So because the man told me, he said, if there's anybody that can live to 100 years old, I put my money on you. Yeah. Because he told me, he said, man, you don't even have any contusion. And like this, and so they checked me for everything. Yeah. And so, you know, so that's the reason I came back.
We go on to the mid-90s now, and you're back in the ring. Mike Tyson, and when everyone speaks of Evander Holyfield, they think of those two fights you had with Mike Tyson, 96, 97, and in particular the bite fight. Go ahead and just tell us how those two fights affected your career. Did it create that positive turn that you needed at that point in time?
Well, you know, it was, you know, I'm telling you, know, in 1995, I lose the fight against Reddy Bow. But they asked me the question, what are you going to do in 96? So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to carry the torch, and I'm going to be the heavyweight champion of the world. Then that night, I get stopped. For the first time I never got stopped in the fight. I got stopped. And so you know, and everybody said, they were laughing. Yeah. But you know, I ain't said nothing. I kept my composure. And so my next fight, I fought Bobby Chess. And it wasn't a beautiful fight, but I beat him. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Tyson and people said, we want to fight Holyfield. And everybody said, Holyfield got a bad heart. So now, in the people's eyes, they were just, you know, and a lot of people's eyes, they were just looking at me and Mike Tyson fight. Right. But in a lot of Christian people's life, they said, Tyson Muslim. We don't let no, we can't let him beat Holyfield up because, so they try to block the fight. Oh wow! So his heart too bad and all that. So by me going back to Mayo Clinic, they had to prove that I'm all right and to get licensed because they were afraid that they ain't want Muhammad like beating Jesus. So they want that.
That's what it became, Christianity versus Islam.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, I fight and I beat him. Yeah. And so everybody he didn't move at it. He didn't run for Tyson at all, man. He just took it from him. So, which built my confidence up even more. Than all of a sudden, you know, coming to second fight, he thought it was going to be easy. It was rougher. And then that when he went on ahead and took the bite. Right. Like that. And so,
a chunk of the ear.
Well, I'm just saying that chunk of the ear gives me an opportunity to tell people I forgave him. Yeah. They said, what? I said, I forgave him because that's what life is all about. This world
was it that kind of fight you were expecting from Tyson in that rematch?
I know. I thought he gonna jump out and just be wild. But you know what? He know that I fight better when people wild. Yeah. That my whole thing is that when people aggressive, I'm real good at being aggressive. I was small practice my whole life till I got 19 and 20. I started growing, and you know I had a counterpunch. I was good, and I make you miss and make you pay.
Real deal interview right here on Iron Sports. Right there, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be looking into some real deal promotions right here in Jamaica. Soon come.